Good afternoon, Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered, the pay-to-play committee.
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddie Vasquez, and this is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Good afternoon, folks. Today's episode, the pay-to-play committee. What is the Committee for Better Yonkers? What have they done to improve the city of Yonkers? Have they made the city of Yonkers better? Let's find out. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today's episode, the committee, the pay-to-play committee. Today's episode, I'm going to be elaborating on this morning's mini episode where I spoke about the Committee for Better Yonkers. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about them today, coming out a little early, because I think it's important to understand who exactly the Committee for Better Yonkers is, why they exist, and what they've done here in the city of Yonkers. What is the Committee for Better Yonkers? They are a PAC, a political action committee. They basically raise money, influence politics in wherever area they're operating in. Many times they are supporting a candidate, and they raise money for that candidate. This particular committee didn't seem to do much but attack the former city council president, Mike Cater, who is still currently under investigation. If you may recall, the city council president was under investigation for quid pro quo for alleged allegations that he was receiving a free office space for free, not paying rent in exchange for a contract that he gave to Smith Bus Jacobs. And it's interesting because Smith Bus Jacobs, I'm going to mention them here in a little bit, and I'll tell you why. But the Committee for Better Yonkers was created by a woman named Roseanne Gallego, Gallego, and I'm going to share that from the New York, actually from state website. It tells you who files these companies and these organizations. And here you have, I don't know if you can see that, Roseanne, I'll make it bigger there. Roseanne Gallego. And that's important. That's very important because she is tied to the Yonkers Board of Ethics. The Yonkers Ethics Board. The board that declared John Rubo chair of the real estate committee, they declared it to be okay, no problem for him to chair that. No issues in him making decisions that involve his landlord, AMS Acquisitions, who are doing a lot of development here in the city. They bought Chicken Island, which today there was a large crowd of people as the councilwoman, Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, I believe, was doing her usual food distribution there. She has a close ties with AMS and John Rubo. Now, the Board of Ethics determined that John Rubo was not to be investigated. Basically, their determination was the reason why the Inspector General, Liam McLaughlin, did not investigate John Rubo after he received a letter similar to the one that was sent in regards to Mike Cater. I find that interesting because Dennis Gallego is the secretary of the Board of Ethics, which is Roseanne Gallego's husband, and I'll share that. So is his wife, who created and filed for this organization, being ethical? Is she an ethical person? You can see there, Dennis Gallego, Secretary of the Board of Ethics. Again, it's important because the former city council president is still currently under investigation for alleged quid pro quo. A letter was recently sent back in December to Liam McLaughlin. I've recently had a conversation within the past few weeks with the Inspector General regarding that letter, and he told me he would not be investigating simply because the Board of Ethics determined that there was nothing wrong or unethical with John Rubo sitting as the chair of the Real Estate Committee. And they also found nothing else that would warrant an investigation. But can the Yonkers Board of Ethics be trusted? Are they very ethical themselves? They're tied to this Committee for a Better Yonkers, who hasn't done much for the city, hasn't done anything to try to improve the city for better or make the city better. In fact, the only thing that they've done that I can find in my research is attack the city council president. So were they the ones behind the campaign attacks, the vicious robocalls, the robotexts, the mailers attacking the city council president just before the primaries? I went on the website for a Committee of Better Yonkers, and all I can find was this. If you go on the website, it seems like the only thing that they cared to do was create an entire webpage to attack the former city council president. And everywhere you go, every link you click on, it's about Mike Cater. Subpoenas issued in probe of Yonkers City Council president as primary looms. Mike Cater under investigation. Another Cater scandal. All by the Committee for a Better Yonkers. May 26, 2001, May 27th, June 10th, 2021. If you go down here, again, more of the city council president. The only thing that I could find on the website, beside the city council, the former city council president, and his investigation and subpoenas into the quid pro quo case, is just a promotional ad for the current city council president, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. I found that to be very interesting. They even got a picture here of the former city council president. I said this before, looking like a character from Goodfellas. This is committeeforbetteryonkers.com. If you go on home, this is what it brings you to. Click on one of these articles. Just talks about the former city council president. But who, or I should say, why would Roseanne Gallego create an organization, a committee, a PAC, call it a Committee for a Better Yonkers, and do nothing but attack the city council president? Who is Roseanne Gallego? Well, I tried to research her and look her up, and the only thing I can find was a LinkedIn page linking her to the New York State Senate. According to LinkedIn, or her LinkedIn page, it says Roseanne Gallego, front desk receptionist at New York State Senate. That's all I can find on her. It gave address in Bronxville and also an address on Beach Street, and I doubt she would have an apartment there on Beach Street. So again, who is Roseanne, and why did she create the Political Action Committee for a Better Yonkers? Did she simply create it to attack the city council president? Was she someone that was in support of the current city council president? Or was this a way to raise money? Who funded a committee for a better Yonkers. Let's take a look at that. I wanted to share an Excel spreadsheet, but I'm having a little trouble doing that. But I'll share the website. And by the way, I'm not sure who is it that's trying to get my podcast from this morning taken down. They keep claiming copyright infringement on the part that I show the contributions that were made. It's very strange. That's not copyrighted material. In fact, that's public information. So why would someone claim copyright and try to prevent me from showing my video? And I will play the video of this podcast again tonight at 8. But I want to show you, I don't know if you can see that there, many of the people that donated $5,000. Harry Bajar, I can't even pronounce that last name, but from what I understand, that gentleman is the owner of the Castle Royale, right there, 92 Waverly. He donated $5,000 to the Committee for a Better Yonkers. Local 628, I believe that is the fireman union, Yonkers Fireman Union, donated $3,000. Yonkers CLSA, $1,000. Ginsburg Development. Ginsburg is currently involved in the development going up at the Ludlow project. Again, something that Councilman Rubo, as the chair of the real estate committee, would be involved in making decisions and voting on. Louis Capelli, $10,000. Wow. A lot of money. Louis Capelli is known as the Westchester Donald Trump, the Trump of Westchester. Alfred Wiseman, real estate, $5,000. Marathon Development, $5,000. Again, Yonkers CLSA, $500. Cheryl Green, $250. General Fund Yonkers CLSA, $1,200. AP Towing, or APAL, I should say, APAL Towing, right? They've donated. Some say that these companies are donating so they can continue their contracts with the city, get into an accident. Who are they calling? Not knocking it. Police Association of Yonkers, $500. And Smith Buzz Jacobs. Found this to be very interesting. Right? The Committee for a Better Yonkers, which got $4,000 from Smith Buzz Jacobs, is pumping out these allegations in this political hit job that involves Smith Buzz Jacobs, basically throwing them under the bus, no pun intended. And they donated $2,000, but not just $2,000. They've actually donated more than that. Charles Gardner, was he the former police commissioner? $250 in 2019. Countrywide Transportation, $1,200 in 2019. And my friend Henry, D. John Balazs, $325 in 2019. I know what Jai T. Scott is, $300, an individual, $325. Robert Cacase, $250. And Sam Borelli, recently named the building commissioner, $325 and back in 2019. Mr. Tommy Meyer, $500. Again, these individuals contributed to the money that was spent, and I hear it was over $100,000 to attack the former city council president, Mike Cater. Wilson Kavanaugh, $250, 2019. Mr. Rubo's company. So basically, you contributed $325, your company, Councilman Rubo, in 2019 to the organization that was created by Roseanne Gallego, whose husband, Dennis, sits on the Board of Ethics, that basically said it was okay for you to continue to chair the real estate committee and make decisions, be able to vote. Not just chair, but also be able to vote. Was that, a favor? And Matt Gallagher, counsel for the city of Yonkers, who responded to the letter that was recently sent to Liam McLaughlin's office, stating that there was nothing wrong with Rubo, Councilmember Rubo, being the chair or sitting as the chair of the real estate committee, and that was determined by the ethics board or the Yonkers Board of Ethics, again, which Dennis Gallegos sits as the secretary. So Matt Gallagher defending John Rubo, Councilman Rubo, agreeing with the ethics board and then donating to the Committee for Better Yonkers that was created by the wife of Dennis Gallego, who sits on the ethics board. So I'm trying to connect it for you folks. Connecting the dots here. Carol Daly, you should take that $250 back the way they did your husband. It's messed up. Hey, the Daly family's pissed off. And I got another individual, 2019, Mark Constantine, currently defending Councilmember Rubo in a civil lawsuit in federal court for unpaid wages. Mark Constantine donated $325 back in 2019. Another interesting company, Rand Commercial Realty. Some of the comments that I've seen on the podcast regarding Rand Realty have to do with the mayor's brother, who works as a realtor for Rand Realty. Rand Realty, also a company with a shady past, and owner who has a shady past, former politician, last name Adler. Main Street Loss in Yonkers, $1,200. I just want to go over some of the more ones that are well known. PKF O'Connor Davies. They do a lot of the audits, or I should say audits or financial reviews or something. They get constant. They're constantly doing these. They have a contract with the city to do audits or reviews on some of their reports and stuff. So do some reports. I have to get them exactly what they do, but they pay for that. That's $2,250. Basically, that's an investment. You contribute to this, you keep your contract. That's what it's all about. All right. So it's not a bad investment. And then Harris Beach, I've been talking about those guys a lot. In 2018, they donated contributed $2,500 to the Committee for Better Yonkers. And Impact, back in 2018, $250. Little did they know that they were going to screw Mike Cater. I'm sure if they had known, they can see the future like Nostradamus, they might have not contributed that. I suggest you get a refund for that. Abe Powell Towing again, $500. Cherry Edson. Henry D. Jambalage, once again, 2018, $325. James Kavanaugh, $250. Right? This is what you have to do. You have to write checks. You got to continue to write checks if you want to play. Right? James Kavanaugh is the president and CEO of the YIDA. That was coincidentally created back in 1982, the same year that the Greystone Foundation was created here in Yonkers. Coincidentally. Mark Constantine, again, $325. Matt Gallagher, again, $325. Okay. Robert Cacase Jr., $250. Sam Borelli, again, current, recently named the commissioner of the building department. They even lowered the requirements, in order to get him the job. Steve Levy, I believe he's the deputy mayor. I met with him. Not a bad guy. Seems like a good guy. Yonkers Democratic Chairman's Club, $325. International Brotherhood of Teamsters, local, $456, $2,500. Get your money back. Those guys are not giving jobs on those developments. A lot of developers here. And you're still fighting for jobs. Get that money back. Get that money back. Martin Ginsburg, Realty, $1,000. Countrywide Transportation, Countrywide Transportation, another $2,500. Main Street Loss, another $2,000. Titunia, Buena Vista, LLC, $2,000. Those are the guys. I believe that might be, And I could be wrong, could be connected to AMS. I believe they're the ones that are building that big development on Buena Vista, 600 units, yes. The Triad Group, 1250, ran again, 500. Smith Bus Jacobs, another 2,500. That's a total of 6,500, Smith Bus Jacobs. You better sue their asses and get that money back. Gave them that money, and then they threw you under the bus, and then they still got that stuff up on their website. They didn't even take it down. Did you guys dirty, man. Greasy. Giving them that money, and then they're going to throw you under the bus. That's probably why, in the letter that I have it on my podcast, I read it, where Smith Bus Jacobs, they write a letter to Liam McLaughlin, and they state that several council members called Jeffrey Bus, and basically were like kind of apologizing and copping a plea, saying, I'm sorry, it was political pressure. That's why we did it. We had to name you in there. I know you contributed to our campaign, because they don't just contribute to a committee for a better Yonkers. They've donated to a lot of the other elected officials, right? I don't think they'll be donating anymore after what they did to them. Empress, 2,500. PKF O'Connor, again, another $1,000. In my opinion, pay to play, baby. Pay to play, baby. Right? Hughes and Hughes Contracting, 2,500. Alan Weissman, Alfred Weissman, Empire Dental, Sprainbrook Manor Rehab, Hughes and Hughes again, $5,000. Big boys. Teamster Local 456 again, another $1,000. Man, I'm sure you regret that. Grassy Sprain PAC, a political action committee, right? Contributing to a political action committee. Anybody know about Grassy Sprain, what they wanted to do over there? Increase the density population by building duplexes. That's what that's all about. G. Lodge and Son, 4958. Who's that? Anybody know? Emerald Lake Holdings, got to look into that. $2,500. Grassy Sprain, another $2,500 from that pack back in 2015. Employees, Government Employee Union 707. Harris Beach, once again, $2,500. So you see a lot of these players here. Harris Beach, Mark Constantine, Ginsburg. These individuals all contributed. Even Smith Bus Jacobs contributed to their own problems. That's probably why they're so mad and they're suing. They said, what the hell's going on? I gave you guys money. But they wanted Mike Cater out so bad, this political hit job. And I explained the plot in Catergate. Watch the Catergate podcast. I explained the plot, the players, exactly how it went down. They raised money, the $100,000 that was spent to make Mike Cater look bad and get him out of office was raised through these individuals. A committee for a better Yonkers, which hasn't done anything to make Yonkers better. In fact, they hurt Yonkers by helping get rid of the city council president who was for Yonkers. He was the only one that was pushing the housing ordinance. He wanted to slow things down. He wanted to do more surveys. He wanted to do more assessments. And they took him out. That's what it was all about. Developers did not want someone making this noise and creating problems for them. So they got together. My question is, does Roseanne Gallego know exactly what she was getting into? Or was she just a pawn? And what did they do with that money? They raised $185,000. Now, I could be wrong. I tried to look up how much that the committee themselves contributed. All I can find is $14,000. So if that is true, then where did a lot of that money go to? Well, we know $100,000 went to Mike Cater and destroying his career. Right? So there's $114,000. So I guess $14,000 actually was contributed, and the rest was to negative campaigns, negative ads to attack Mr. Cater. And I shared the links on the morning podcast, so you can click on the links and look this stuff up yourself. But I just wanted to speak about this committee because, again, folks, this is how things operate here in the city of Yonkers. You have these political action committees that are created, and some do good, some have good intentions. They raise money for elected officials. But as you can see, the Committee for a Better Yonkers, their only intention was to take out Mike Cater. Why? Because he was for affordable housing. He was pushing to have it increase. So all the folks that wanted affordable housing, the affordable housing ordinance to be increased, that went to City Hall and spoke, were upset that it was killed with the help of Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, who I noticed has changed her hair color back to brown. Is it because I've been talking about the blonde hair? Because I have noticed things that people have been doing, changing it up because of what I've been mentioning. That's right. Not that I'm trying to take credit for it. I'm just saying I notice it. She helped kill it. Mike Cater was the only one that was for the people. As you can see, John Rubo wanted to push forward. And I watched the meetings last year. I saw Mike Cater say, Will, I think we should do more surveys. I think we can wait on it. Why do we have to rush? And John Rubo was pushing. So is this all individuals in cahoots? Roseanne creates the Committee for Better Yonkers, raises the money, not only to attack Mike Cater and get rid of him, but also to fund the campaign of other individuals. If you go to the website, Committee for Better Yonkers. Everything is about Mike Cater and the subpoenas and the investigation that's still ongoing. And then there's just that one advertisement for the current city council president. So it doesn't look good. I would call them up and say, hey, take my picture off there. I don't want no association with you guys. That's interesting. It's very interesting. So it was a political hit job. This was intentionally, Mike Cater was intentionally taken out. He was intentionally taken out. The plot included individuals like his chief of staff, the wife of Zahi Jeris, who recently made an appearance at Larkin Plaza this past Thursday to lead the charge of city officials and their kids to demand that masks be taken off or made optional. Didn't want to join us regular folks, the commoners. They even had Henry D. John Balaj, who I mentioned his name there, as a contributor to the Committee for Better Yonkers. He was out there. Nader Sage was out there. And Zahi Jeris' wife was out there. One of the actors in the plot to get rid of Mike Cater, along with the Yonkers Tribune. The 6 council members who signed the letter that was sent to Liam McLaughlin. Liam McLaughlin, the Inspector General. Mike Breen, from what I'm hearing, who went over to the individual who wrote the letter in regards to the quid pro quo, based on the article written in the Yonkers Tribune. This was a full-scale attack. Committee for a Better Yonkers is created. They raise money. Where does that money go? They've been raising money since 2015. Where's that money gone? $185,000. Only thing that shows is $14,000 of it was contributed from the time they started to actually 2019. Nothing in 2021. So what is this Committee for Better Yonkers? How have they improved Yonkers? Why have so many developers contributed so much money to the people like Ginsburg, Martin Ginsburg. Why did you guys donate to this committee? What is this committee about that you guys donated to? Do you know? Hey, Mr. Dennis, your wife created this. Why? Or is she your sister? Why? Mr. Board of Ethics Secretary. It's not very ethical. And why did all those other companies, Emperors, APAL, why did they donate to this committee? And why isn't no one looking into this committee? I mean, it's just very strange. It's very strange. Someone should investigate that. I mean, strange. I think that's very strange. So I wanted to point that out. I wanted to go elaborate a little bit on that from early this morning. And by the way, they're trying to get my podcast. They don't want me to show this podcast. Someone keeps claiming copyright infringement on my podcast, and they're claiming that the parts where I'm showing the contributions are their copyrighted material. And so Facebook doesn't want to show it because of that. So I'm actually fighting it. I appealed it. I said, no way, that's public information from New York State website. Who the heck is Freelancer Nassim? Some guy named Freelancer Nassim keeps claiming copyright on this podcast. What is it with these freelancers? It's like the freelance masseuse that challenged Carlos Burgos' signature, the guy that worked at the Yonkers Brewing Company. You guys got nothing else to do because you're freelancing and you're home all day, twiddling your thumbs. Get a job. I guess freelance masseuse guy does have a job. He hired Harris Beach to fight the signatures. And look, they also contributed to the Committee for a Better Yonkers. Isn't that strange? Isn't that interesting? So, I mean, do you see it? Can you see what I'm saying? Can you see what I'm showing you guys here? Do you see the picture that I'm painting here? I'm not Picasso. I'm trying, but I think I'm making it clear enough here. Watch Catergate 1 and 2. I think I even did 3 parts. Then watch this episode and you'll understand. All right. And the podcast is not to criticize. I'm not criticizing. I bring up information that people contact me with, or things that I see that I think are interesting, that are important for the people to know. You know, so it's not about being critical. And I agree, people should not just criticize if they're not doing anything, but I definitely am doing something and not just doing a podcast. That's for sure. And shout out to MPAC again, Johnny Limo, once again, called me up on Saturday, said, hey, I got a bunch of sandwiches. You want to take them? Absolutely, we took them. Tomorrow I will be giving out some of the donations that I have been receiving. Got a lot of stuff there, and we're going to go and give them to the people that need it. And no one's paying me. I wasn't elected. I'm not receiving multiple salaries. I'm not getting any favors. In fact, people are making things difficult for me, and I'm still doing it. So what does that say about me? You want praises, huh? I'm not looking for any, but if you're looking for some, then what does that say about me? Because I'm not elected. I'm not making money. I'm not getting paid. I don't have a salary. It's not expected of me. It's not my responsibility. And I'm taking flack for it. So I don't want to hear the crap. When you're doing more than that, when you're doing more than, then you can talk. Then say something. Okay? I'm taking flack. And I'm doing this to fight for what's fair. And I'm bringing this information out because it's needed. There needs to be transparency. This cannot happen in our political system, and we need to understand where the problems lie and how do we fix that and move forward so that we don't have these issues in our political elections here in the city of Yonkers, so we can elect individuals that really want to do something, that are not going to promise one thing one day And when it comes time to deliver, they don't. And we see that far too often. And yes, people can criticize. If they elected you, they can criticize. If they voted for you, they can criticize. If they were lied to, they can criticize. There are things that people want addressed or want to know about and not being addressed. They don't care about the food handouts. That still hasn't gotten a contract for CSEA. That still hasn't increased the housing ordinance. Still hasn't made things better for those who are suffering from mental health or addicted to drugs, homeless, and hungry. There's still shootings going on. Shooting just yesterday by Whitney Young Projects. Someone was shot, I forgot exactly where it was, the day before that in a white Durango. 2 days back to back of shooting. Yet they're going to do a town hall on Sustainable Westchester to try and convince people that they know better than they do about their own electrical use. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. Do your job. Don't respond to the criticism. And if you're getting criticized, maybe there's something to it. Do your job. Otherwise, you won't have it any longer because we will be voting you out. And there will be better candidates coming. I promise you that. I promise you that. Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. I will replay this episode tonight. This is my episode for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your day if you have it off. Be blessed. Be blessed. And find out, what is this Committee for Better Yonkers? Who are they? And Mr. Dennis Gallego from the Board of Ethics, why'd your wife start this? Or whoever, why'd she start this? And where did that money go? And was their sole purpose to take out the city council president, Mike Cater? And it's time for John to get off the board of real estate. That he can't chair that no more. He shouldn't be voting on that. And the fact that Liam thinks there's nothing there to investigate shows that he is not the person for the inspector general job either. So it's time to get these folks out of here. Time to get them out.
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddie Vasquez. That was Basement Politics Unfiltered. Who is the Committee for Better Yonkers? Is that a way to funnel money? Launder money? Is that what I have accidentally uncovered here? Is that why they're trying to keep my podcast on the Committee for Better Yonkers from being played on Facebook? That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. Dig a little deeper into that IDA.